It was one of the hottest physical times. The heat was overbearing, one of the hottest times in terms of tempers, flaring up all around the place. We had boycotted, we were in the midst of boycotting the stores downtown. People who decided, of color, who decided to go and shop, we took their clothes and discarded them from them. We ended up having almost 98%. Okay. Those things that were done there, names, we were called off names and telephone numbers too in the mass meetings and whatnot. Students who were absolutely marvelous, college students, high school students, said, our time has come. We're out there. We're going to do it. You old folk are too slow. We can't wait on you. And Medgar found himself caught between the young, aggressive people and those who wanted to sit back and do nothing. Interestingly enough, we ended up with two parts of the population, the young and the old, who marched and were together. What happened too, they were bitten by dogs and used, washed down streets by water hoses and taken to the fairgrounds, which ended up being concentration camp. Little water, food brought in tubs. Police would spit in the food before they could eat it, and people's homes being foreclosed and whatnot. But that night, President Kennedy was scheduled to speak. And Medgar said to me, let the kids stay up so they can see. They might not understand. Let me see. And I have to say this, he was so good in explaining to our children what was going on and why he was doing what he was doing. He was just marvelous with that. He left that morning and kissed us all goodbye, and he came back in and he said, I'm so tired, but I can't stop. And kissed us and left again. President Kennedy spoke, but before that, Medgar called home and said, I love you with all my heart. And that was unusual for him to show that kind of emotion in the heat of everything. See you tonight. Kids stayed up. He stayed at the office after a meeting, came home, was on his way home, and we heard the car, the motor of the car, and the kids were sitting on the floor. President Kennedy had already spoken. The kids were watching something else. He said, that's Daddy, that's Daddy. And I was on the bed with our baby, who was 3 years old, and pulled in the driveway and the sound of the shot. I rushed to the door. The children did as they had been told by him. They found the safest place in the house, which was the bathroom and the tub, and they were pulling their little brother in there and went outside, and there it was. After all of these years, it is as vivid to me as it can be. All the blood, Medgar's efforts to pull himself around to the door with his keys in his hand. It's there, it'll never go away.